librarian here at the Ames Public Library, and
I'm Anessa. I'm also a librarian here at the Ames Public Library.
a couple of librarians cutting it up. Today we're talking to you about the month of April in the library's 12 to Try challenge. The challenge for April is to read the last book in the series. Stay tuned for suggestions from Anessa and myself, or stop into the library and check out our displays or promotions in the catalog.
Okay, so the first book that I want to recommend, which is the last book in the Wayfarers series by Becky Chambers, is The Galaxy and the Ground Within. It tells the story of 5 very, very different travelers who are stranded by a freak technological failure in the galactic equivalent of a truck stop. They're stuck with each other and must navigate clashing personalities, conflicting cultures, and their own luggage. It is not your standard laser gun and rocket ship shoot 'em up sci-fi for sure. It's extremely character driven, focusing entirely on the cast, their relationships, their character development. It's very cozy, very peaceful, very interpersonal drama heavy, but the world building throughout this entire series is just fascinating. It's full of life and detail and weird little things, but there's no info dumping. So it's not like you have to read pages and pages and pages of technological detail. In this series, humans are just one of many, many equally weird alien races and cultures. And it really, really deserved the Hugo Award. I'm pretty sure that every book in this entire series won the Hugo Award the year it came out. The first book in the series is A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. And personally, I love this series so much that I would recommend starting at the beginning in order to read the last one. But interestingly enough, each book kind of focuses on a different set of characters. So if you didn't want to do that, you could theoretically just read this one if you hadn't read the rest of the series first. What about you, Seth? What book do you want to recommend?
I brought Patrick O'Brien's Blue at the Mizzen. How many books did you have in that series?
4.
4. This one is number 20 out of 20, which means I win, I think. It is a series that follows a pair of friends through the Napoleonic War era, Captain Jack Aubrey and Dr. Stephen Maturin. This is also the last book, not because it had a planned ending and the author sunsetted the characters or something, but because he went ahead and died before he finished another one, which was super inconsiderate. Also, don't jump in at number 20. That makes no sense. You're just going to have to read 1 through 19 before you get here, so start reading. These are books that kind of suck you into the world aboard a sailing ship in sort of the same way that reading a Jane Austen book might suck you into the drawing room of a house in the same time period. And O'Brien kind of manages to do that as someone who didn't even live back then, so it's especially impressive. By the end of the series, though, you're coming back probably not for the world, more for the characters. Jack is a captain in the Navy. He's completely in his element on the deck of a ship. He's a complete moron everywhere else. Stephen is a physician aboard ship, sometimes a spy. He loves the natural world, and he really digs opium. The two are so different as to be completely mystified by each other's likes and dislikes, but they stay firmly devoted to each other. It's no spoiler to say that this book ends with the two characters sailing off kind of into the sunset on an unwritten future adventure. And it kind of feels appropriate that the book ends in the same way as the series began, was 2 friends getting together, having an adventure. It's great. It's sort of appropriate that there's no finality, I think. This series, it's one that a lot of historical fiction readers kind of find their way to just by themselves. But I think if you're someone who does read maybe Jane Austen and enjoys that sort of thing, maybe you should pick one of these up too. It might surprise you.
Thanks, Seth.
Absolutely.
All right, so if you don't want to read 20 books to get to the end of a finished series. Another good one to try would be The Good, the Bad, and the Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This is the last book in a series of what you might call cozy thrillers. It's very exciting. There's lots of twists and turns, lots of suspense, but the vibe is more like madcap comedy than like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? There's something of a mystery, but it's not really a whodunit. It's definitely more of a crazy adventure. This particular one is about the accidental delivery of a gift to the wrong person during Lunar New Year celebrations in Jakarta. It results in wild shenanigans for the characters, and the whole series is really funny and action-packed. So I would really recommend that you do start with the first book, Dial A for Aunties. But there are only 3 books in this series, so you can get to the end pretty quickly. I definitely recommend this for anyone looking for excitement and fun. What's your book, Seth?
The second and final one that I wanted to share was The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. So it's kind of completely the opposite of the one that I shared first. It's only a 3-book series. You should probably start at the beginning though. And unlike the other one, which didn't really have an ending, this one definitely does. And it's super bloody. It's pretty appropriate that it's called the Bloodsworn Trilogy. It begins with about half a dozen simple stories. There's the guy who wants revenge for his sister's murder. There's the lady who wants to find her kidnapped son. And before the end of book 1, all these adventurers are sailing and fighting all over the world. Ancient gods are being resurrected and trying to murder each other, and the fate of the world hangs in balance. The pieces sort of get assembled. Factions are chosen in book 2, so that by the time you get to this book, the author is free to just throw all constraint to the wind, and we get about 400 pages of like Viking hairy dudes battering each other with axes and bellowing stuff about, vengeance. Classic Viking hijinks, in other words. What makes this a really great last book is that the author doesn't just wrap up that big story, like the fate of the world. He goes back and revisits all of those initial characters and gives each of them their own little ending too. It's a perfect way to wrap up a really exciting series. Try it if you read other fantasy authors, people like Joe Abercrombie or Mark Lawrence. Thanks for listening to our April suggestions for end-of-series books. Come to the library and grab your favorite end of a favorite series to read it in April, or give us suggestions on what we should have recommended to you. See ya!